Alright, today's session is about, I'm sure we've all heard it, mixing the major pentatonic with the minor pentatonic in a blues. And sometimes you hear people say, like, when you get to the 4 chord, you play a minor pentatonic, and then when you're on the 1 chord, you play a major pentatonic. I remember hearing it in a guitar magazine. Maybe in one of the articles at the back, like maybe that guy Arlen Roth, something like that. And at the time, the idea was like, what? Ugh, it seems so complicated. But there's like, when you're talking about theory, there's the theory, and then there's what happens in practice. And so you can tackle it from either way, and I think we should go with what happens in practice, because a lot of guys that are doing this thing, mixing major and minor pentatonic, are not doing it at a theory level. They're probably doing it because they are copying B.B. King, and then so they're just doing a B.B. King lick, and they know where that works, or and that is what a lot of this stuff is B.B. King, and Chuck Berry is on guitar a lot of this. So here we go, and hit like and subscribe if you like and subscribe to stuff. Makes a big difference. We're closing in on 1,000, so how we're going to approach it is bring in major notes into your minor position. And I know everybody will like that, because that's the go-to pattern. Now the idea is I'm just gonna bring like one note in, like this one here. So regularly you've got an E and a G in the pentatonic minor. It's caged, C-A-G-E-D. C-A-G-E-D, C-A-G-E-D, C-A, caged, ka. Now we're bringing in a major note from the A pentatonic major scale, which is a whole other scale. There's minor, which is like in this position like this, and then major is like this. Now that's not a lot of, like, you can think like that, and actually I think as the lesson goes along, we'll get more generic in how you can explore it on your own. But you can see that's the 6, a major 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1. And here we go, 1, flat 7, 5, 4, flat 3, 1. So you notice the only common note is that one. So this is kind of major sounding, and then there's a minor. And then to expand on that, you can do, like here's the C, and you can add the major note, C sharp, that. So you can either slide that from C to C sharp, and here it is in the scale. It's the 3, 1, 2, 3. So you're sliding or hammering a flat 3. And you'll see in later licks, sometimes you want to do that, and other times you want to do that. So this is like a B.B. King sound to me, but also happens up there too. Well, let's keep it focused down here. And that's an entry of Johnny B. Good. So, yeah, it's called a blues entry, but you can see you can either play it in triplets, or you can play it in straight 8s. 1, 2, 3. I love Chuck Berry. It's probably in my top 2 or 3 favorite players, especially when I was younger. Seeing a picture of Chuck Berry playing even was awesome, and hearing his music. So what that little thing is, you're bringing the 6 in but keeping the 7. Like, that's the normal scale, but now you're bringing in the major 6, and it creates a mixolydian sound. And then you put this note, the 7th fret 4, and then the hammer the 5th fret to the 6th fret, a flat 3 to a natural 3, and then a root. Oh. All these little variations. Here's the A, 7, 8, 7, 5, 7, 5, hammer to 6, A, G, F sharp, E, D, C, C sharp, A. So depending on what you're doing, that can either be 2 separate notes, or a slur. It's really a C sharp with a C decorating it. And that scale is what I think of as a mix of, you've got, 2 major notes and 3 minor notes, and then the 1 common note. It's like the Chuck Berry scale. And he often includes this note, which is a major note, like. So practice that as a scale. And sometimes you can leave that note and just go. And you can even hinge. That's a hinge, like where you say you play this note and then you want to go like that. You just do a mini bar. Well, another nice major sound is if you go, like, bend that note to there. Like, that would be like. Kind of B.B. King-ish. I don't really play that way, but I like it, I don't have much opportunity to practice that, but it's a good sound. I play like that all the time. And then if you want a nice little tail to put on that, you continue on down in the minor, and what we're going to do is put that passing note in there. And then you are going to that note in the major pentatonic scale. So it's 4 notes in a row. And it's almost like an aside, like. So that's another, and you could, like, this is just the cliches of the position, and you could just start to think about it scale-wise, and it's nice, it's actually fun. Let's just take, I feel like this is the full scale of, if you mix a minor and a major. It's mostly the minor position with a couple major notes mixed in. So, and you can play around with that and add that and add the bends, hinges. Now the next thing I want to talk about, there is one other little thing in here, and that is having the flat 3, the 9, like this. And that's like a vocal scale. It just sounds like what you would sing. And you can get that with a slide. So that's almost like a major pentatonic scale, but with a flatted 3. And it forms a little diminished arpeggio. So that's good for slide, I think, too. Just trying to pretend what the slide would be like. Okay, now just pure scale-wise, if you look at, like, it's an A minor, but it's also a C major. Now, if you take that and, you know, move it to the point of A, now this is an A major. See, that's A to A. And then C major is also A minor. Like, these are modes of each other, really. You know, it's the same collection of notes, but starting on a different degree. Like, for example, this is a C. If you play that over a C major chord, it sounds like the major. But you could also play it over the minor chord. And you get this blue note. I can't seem to sing it, but so when you combine those two things, you get an A major that feels like it wants to ascend, and then an A minor. And just out of or to satisfy any curiosity, A major is the same as F sharp minor. So you can see I'm just running up one and down the other. And that's the thing about the A major. It does sound like it wants to ascend, you know, major, and then descend minor, you know, because you're flattening and sharpening notes. But it's not a strict rule at all. But what is a strict rule is playing the A major over a D7 chord. And you can do it, but you have to handle it with care, like like that. See, a D7 chord has got a C natural in it. Like, let's look at an A7, the 1 chord in the blues. You've got a C sharp. That's a major note. Now, you can also play the minor over top of it, and it creates this crunch. That's called a sharp 9 sound. So you can play the C natural over the C sharp, but it doesn't go both ways. Like when you go to the 4 chord, a D9 or D7. Let's look at it as a D9. You know, these are all middle finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string, index on the 4th fret, 4th string, and then these are all on the 5th fret on the 3rd and 2nd string respectively. So you can see those are all in the kind of minor side of it, except you've got that one nice major note. So when you're playing over the 4 chord, try not to play the C sharp. Like it just, but if you were using it as a passing note, it would, it would definitely sound like pretty swing band era a little bit. But generally, you got to watch that note or handle with care, because you got to play the minor over the D7. So that gets, and then over the E, either one of them is pretty good, but that gets a general strategy of when you're playing blues, like start major, and then when you go minor, it's like once you start major and then just kind of end minor, and you want to aim for a cadence like this. So it's like mostly minor, and then you can, if you want to signify the A major chord. So it's like start with the major and then go minor, and then when it's time to resolve, just try to snake one of those in. It's like a standard ending, and that'll be a good enough strategy to get you through as many choruses as you want to do. There's other stuff, like when it goes to an E7, you can do a lick like this, like what you're doing is bending into the E chord, and then you can see it's the F sharp being bent to a pitch of a G sharp, and then you just add those two notes from the major penta. So that would be how the issue is addressed on an E major chord, on the 5 chord. So, cool. This is just meant to be like a primer to the idea, because you can really get into it and come up with all kinds of different ways of mixing, like especially when you get into modes. But this video has rambled on long enough, but you can create little modes that are half minor and half major. That kind of thing. That's for when you want to like play really fast. Not that I can like do a bebop or something. Okay, thank you very much.